Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande says there are no immediate plans to close tertiary institutions because of the coronavirus pandemic. He says a meeting will be held tomorrow, which is of course Tuesday, to discuss the way forward.
Firstly, we have said that contact in institutions must be limited. In terms of various institutions, only University of Cape Town has actually closed the university by bringing forward the Easter holiday break. What the other institutions like University of Johannesburg Rhodes have done, have suspended contact lectures. And we are encouraging that all institutions should immediately suspend all contact lectures as well as minimize contact among students. But we are not as yet planning a shutdown, because there are pros and cons to actually shutting down the institutions completely. Where do you take the students to? Moving them out of the residencies, and how do we deal with that? That's a matter that we will discuss tomorrow as to whether the situation does warrant the shutting down. As of now, most institutions have said, we've agreed, they will limit contact, suspend lectures, use online more, and then manage the situation of students in the residences such that we minimize contacts and we are in better control of the situation.
All right, let's talk to Ari Katz, Boston City Campus CEO, about the impact on their institution. Ari, thank you so much for your time. Welcome.
Thanks for inviting.
I mean, we're seeing, of course, basic education schools, primary and high school, some of them closing. We're seeing some universities sort of taking voluntary closures there. But when it comes to Boston City Campus, I mean, how are you taking your precautionary measures?
So to us on the Boston City Campus side, it doesn't really affect any particular learner or any particular student, because all our tuition is already online. So all the lectures are already pre-recorded and it's online. But one also has to remember that education is not just about online lectures. Right. Education is a total experience. So it's about interaction with educators, it's about uploading assignments, it's about feedback, it's about mentorship, it's about support. So we've created a mechanism through an online platform together with some artificial intelligence tools to monitor student performance, to identify high-risk areas, and to allow students to interact with educators on an ongoing basis, and the educators obviously to interact likewise with students. So all the lectures are pre-recorded and all the tuition's online already. No student should be disrupted in any way whatsoever, provided of course they've got access to technology and data. They'll be able to listen to all their lectures, upload all their assignments, interact with educators, and continue as normal. And in fact, the only time this should really affect them is in May, when they present themselves for exams.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I mean, for other institutions that rely on, classrooms and that sort of like intimate engagement, such as this university, where we know of that case of a student who tested positive, I mean, they have a predicament right now. Yeah. The overall impact of, the coronavirus on higher education, how's it looking?
So I think that's going to be quite significant, because even if institutions manage to deliver their classes online in some online mode, as I said before, education is much more than just about delivering classes. It's about an experience and interaction with educators and peers, etc. And so one needs not only the online tuition, but one needs a total experience, which would need to be provided by platforms that exist. And for those institutions that already have that kind of platform like we have, there shouldn't be a problem. For those that don't, I would urgently advise them to actually start making themselves affay with those kind of platforms and moving towards that very quickly, because we don't know how long this is going to last for.
Yeah, and we've seen some schools, and I make mention of the Department of Basic Education, because there have been quite a number of schools that have just closed out of panic, because perhaps a parent had tested positive, or there was even a case, and they're still running those tests. Would you advise institutions of higher learning right now to close off?
Look, I think that's a decision that the Minister of Health should actually probably be making. I wouldn't be in a position to do that. But what I do think is that obviously students are anxious about their future, and it's important that we don't waste time and we don't waste the year by not providing them with the necessary technology support. And seeing as though that already exists, as we already have, all the lectures are live, all lectures online, the whole educator experience already exists, and institutions need to equip themselves as soon as possible to move themselves into that framework so that we don't waste students' times. And as I said, in our case, the next time we need to really see a student is in May when they present themselves for exams.
Yeah.
And between now and then, they can upload assignments, they can interact with educators, they can watch their lectures, etc. And I urge higher education institutions and likewise secondary schools. I mean, we, for example, have a platform through Ivy Digital where high school tuition is available online. But all of that is available, and I urge institutions to actually make themselves affay with those kind of tools and techniques.
Well, thank you so much, Ari. We have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us right here.